December 1991. The Soviet Union, a titan of the 20th century, abruptly vanished. The world watched, incredulous, as its red flag descended from the Kremlin. This was not one sudden fracture, but an intricate cascade of crises. We delve into that final, fatal year, exploring the burgeoning nationalism, the crushing economic despair, and the political blunders that sealed an empire's fate. How did such a power simply unravel? The unraveling began with an attempt at renewal. Mikhail Gorbachev's Perestroika aimed to restructure the economy, while Glasnost, or openness, sought to reform its spirit. But Glasnost uncorked a genie. Long suppressed national identities stirred. The Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, annexed during World War II, led the charge. Their defiance was poetic, the singing revolution, where hundreds of thousands waved forbidden flags and sang ancestral anthems. Estonia's historic Laulupidu song festivals became powerful symbols of peaceful resistance. In November 1988, Estonia declared sovereignty, asserting its laws over Moscow's, a watershed moment. Lithuania, bolder still, declared full independence in March 1990. Moscow's retaliatory economic blockade, cutting vital oil and gas, only hardened their resolve and drew international condemnation. Then, a shockwave from the Union's core, the Russian Republic. Boris Yeltsin, charismatic and defiant, became its leader. On June 12, 1990, now Russia Day, Russia itself declared sovereignty, its laws now paramount on its own vast territory. This sparked a parade of sovereignties. Ukraine, Belarus, the Caucasus, Central Asia, republic after republic asserted control over their resources, withheld taxes, and established their own ministries. A Matryoshka doll effect saw autonomous regions like Tatarstan declare their own sovereignty within Russia. Ironically, Article 72 of the 1977 Soviet Constitution technically permitted secession, a legal fig leaf for the disintegration. Gorbachev hesitated, trapped. Force would betray his reforms. Inaction meant dissolution. His limited, brutal crackdowns, like the January 1991 attacks in Vilnius and by OMON units in Riga, proved disastrous, galvanizing opposition. The mighty central government, even its planning arm Gosplan, was becoming a ghost, its decrees ignored. The Soviet Union was ungovernable long before it officially ceased to exist. Beyond political turmoil, an economic abyss consumed Soviet daily life. By 1990 and 1991, staples like sugar, soap, meat, and even bread vanished from state shelves for extended periods. This was a system historically geared for heavy industry and military might, not consumer goods. Perestroika's haphazard reforms, such as the 1987 Law on State Enterprise and the 1988 Law on Cooperatives, often shattered inefficient supply chains without creating viable new ones. Desperate citizens embarked on sausage train odysseys to major cities, enduring arduous journeys for slightly better supplies, only to face monumental queues, frequently returning empty-handed. Queuing became a soul-crushing national pastime. So acute was the public frustration that in the summer of 1990, widespread cigarette shortages ignited literal tobacco riots in cities like Sverdlovsk and Chelyabinsk. Disastrous government interventions, notably the Pavlov monetary reform of January 1991, which abruptly withdrew 50 and 100 ruble banknotes, vaporized the savings of ordinary people, fueling widespread panic. The state budget deficit exploded, covered by printing rubles, unleashing hyperinflation that rendered the currency virtually worthless. Consequently, barter dominated exchange. Factories traded their output for food to sustain workers. Black markets and the shadow economy thrived. External shocks, like falling global oil prices in the mid-1980s and the enormous economic drain from the Chernobyl disaster, exacerbated the crisis. The glaring chasm between official propaganda of socialist abundance and the grim reality of empty shelves bred deep cynicism, obliterating faith in communist ideology and fostering a desperate yearning for radical change from the pervasive misery. As Gorbachev prepared a new, looser Union Treaty for August 20th, 1,991 hardliners struck. On August 19th, the Gang of Eight, including Vice President Yanayev and KGB Chief Kryukhkov, seized control, placing Gorbachev under house arrest in Crimea. Their aim: halt the reforms and save the Union. But their execution was fatally flawed. Yanayev's trembling hands at a press conference became a symbol of their ineptitude, with reports of key plotters heavily drinking. Crucially, they failed to arrest Boris Yeltsin, who raced to the Russian White House. His defiant stand atop a tank, rallying Muscovites, became legendary. The plotters couldn't enforce a media blackout. Radio Eko Moskvy broadcast defiance, and Yeltsin's team even used fax machines. Army units, like the Taman and Kantemirovsky divisions, wavered. Astonishingly, elite KGB Alpha and Vympel commandos reportedly refused orders to storm the White House, averting a bloodbath, though 3 civilians tragically died. Within 3 days, the coup crumbled. Gorbachev returned, but his power was gone. Yeltsin was ascendant. The Communist Party was discredited. Yeltsin banned it in Russia, and Gorbachev quit as General Secretary, ending its 70-year reign. Terrified republics bolted. Ukraine declared independence on August 24th, a decision overwhelmingly backed by a December honest referendum that included Crimea. Belarus and Moldova swiftly followed. On December 8th, at a hunting lodge in Belovezhskaya Pusha, Yeltsin, Ukraine's Kravchuk, and Belarus's Shushkevich signed the Belovezha Accords. With pivotal phrasing from Yeltsin's aide Gennady Burbulis, they declared the USSR as a subject of international law is ceasing its existence. Forming the Commonwealth of Independent States, Yeltsin informed President Bush before Gorbachev. On December 21st, 11 republics in Alma-Ata endorsed the dissolution. Finally, on December 25th, Gorbachev resigned. The Soviet flag fell, an empire extinguished. Its demise formally acknowledged by the Supreme Soviet the next day. Unlike infamous Soviet breadlines, we reliably deliver. Subscribe and like.